Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again. Okay, so Bluetti makes a lot of products, and for new people it really gets confusing because they do have a lot of products that are very similar in names, but the product can be very drastically different. So Bluetti has another 200-watt solar panel. So they have the Bluetti PV200, they have the PV200S and the PV200D. Now they all are the same 200-watt panel, but they're very different. So we're going to go through, I made one video already between the PV200 and the PV200S, but now I'm going to add the PV200D just in case if you guys are looking for a 200-watt panel, one might not work with your system and the other one might. So we're going to go through the specs real quick. Let's go through pictures just to that way you can kind of know them apart when you see them. So the one with the blue handle is the PV200. That's the one we have. We have 4 of those. They work fantastic. The PV200S is more of a gray color, as you can see, where the handle is kind of built in. It's recessed in the panel. We like the blue handles, but I maybe it would be nice to have them kind of recessed in there, kind of to fit better in like a trunk or behind the seat or whatever. But the handle sticking up doesn't bother us a bit. Very, very good panels. And then the PV200D solar panel has the handle on the left side. So if you were to buy one of these used or see it maybe at a rummage sale or something like that in the future, you'll know by how it stands up, just by looking at it, that the handle is on the left side. So when you stand up the legs, the handle is on the left side, and the PV200S is on the right side. Hopefully it's written on the panel on the back, and that way it makes it a lot easier too. But like I said, this stuff for the newbies out there, which we were very not too long ago, is very confusing. It's very confusing. Okay, so let's go to the second picture of both, and then you can see that the PV200S has a wire steel, it's probably aluminum, legs that are adjustable. The PV200D has standard panels that are probably not cardboardy, but more of a fabric kind of feel to them. And then the 200 original has the very similar kind of cardboardy feel, but they're not cardboard, but it's a fabricy cardboardy feel. All right, let's go to the next one. They all have pouches on the back where you can store like cables and whatnot. Let's see. Now here you can get a better look at the metal-ish legs. Like I said, I'm assuming they're aluminum, so they don't rust. But you can lock these down. You know what I mean? You can like put a spike into them in the ground. That's a plus. Some people like these, and some people do not like these kind of legs on their solar panels. These don't bother me at all. They have little snaps on there. You can put them to a certain preset. I think it's like 15 degrees, 25 and 45. That way, depending on what part you're in the world or what time of the season it is, you can just snap them, and then when you put them up, they're already preset. That's nice. These, I believe, are adjustable on the fly, so you can have a lot more fine tuning with it. And then these, I believe, are snaps too. We'll have to look at. I think this is the newest panel. Don't quote me on that, but that's the newest panel that I've seen. That's why I'm making this video, to try to help other people. Oh, yep, see, so you have the snaps on the back too. So the nice thing about those is they're preset, but the nice thing about these is you can fine tune them. So that is a plus and a minus depending on how you look at the product, I guess. Okay, so let's see. The 200 has a lot more pictures. Pretty straightforward, pretty basic, except that you're going to see when we get down to the specs, they're pretty different, and even though they're the same, they're different. Okay, so let's hurry up and get to this one here. These are the snaps I was referring to, where you can set them at a certain angle already, which is very helpful, and that way you don't have to fine tune them. But this is nice that you can fine tune those, because then you can adjust for the season very, very specifically. I use a can trick. I taught a lot of other scribers on YouTube that have channels with solar. That, I'm an old fella, and we used to use a solar, a soup can, and you put a soup can on the panel, and when the shadow all the way around in a circle disappears, then it's perfectly aligned to the sun without having any technology as far as computers and all kinds of was it azimuth and azimuth lineups and all this satellite stuff. It's a very old-fashioned, simple trick, and it seems to work very, very effective. And then when you have to move it, you just move the panel and you put the soup can back there, and next thing you know, it's perfectly lined up again. Okay, so let's see here. We got, I'll leave this on the back one so you can see the difference of these two panels, and then we'll go through these rest of the pictures just to see them here. That's what it's like folded up. Like I said, the handle doesn't bother us. I actually like it, but recessed in the panel, that's not too bad either. Let's see here. Let's keep going here. That's what they look spread out here. That's how many there are. And then now notice, now this is where it gets very confusing. Notice that this picture does not belong in this solar description for this panel, and I'm going to message Bluetti about that. And now notice that this looks like one of the other panels in the description of the PV200, and that's what I mean. This is where it gets very, very confusing for a lot of folks when they order stuff from especially Bluetti, because they make so many products that I get confused. So we make a database where you can actually go through. Now notice that that's the only picture that does not belong in that group. Now maybe there's an option of purchasing it. Nope, see that this panel doesn't belong in there at all. And like I said, that's where it gets really confusing for a lot of folks. So it can get frustrating for sure. Okay, so let's go down to the main bullet points, if you will. So let's see here. You have okay. So you have monocrystalline panels on the PV200. You have monocrystalline solar cells on the PV200S, and this one, let's see, I believe it's the same, but notice it's not listed here. So it's just one more frustration in trying to figure out what panel that you'll like. I'm going to assume it's monocrystalline. We'll know as soon as we get down to the bottom in the specs here. Let's keep going. Here's tech specs for that one, and then we're going to go over the sizes, and then we're going to go over the shapes and everything here. Let's see, where's it right there? Okay, so now we have all three lined up perfectly. Remember, this is the PV200, this is the 200S, and this is the 200D. If you lose track at any time, just refer to up here. It'll be listed here and here, that, you know, just in case, because like I said, this can get very confusing to a lot of people. So we're going to put these all the way up here like this. Okay, so the dimensions of it completely folded up is about 24.8 inches wide, or long, I guess, by about, is it 23 inches? That's hard to read. 23 inches wide. And then open, it is obviously that same, about 23 inches by about 89 inches. So they're all going to be roughly the same size. Now notice that this one, oh, also it's coming in at 16.1 pounds, which is the lightest of the three panels. Okay, and that's obviously because of the metal legs and other things that they use with the panels. Maybe there's possibly different IP ratings and things like that that can affect the weight too. Now this one comes in at 24 inches wide by about 24.2 inches tall. And then it comes in at 90.1 inches, so just a little bit longer than the standard PV200 when it's opened up. And notice now that it's about 3 pounds, 3.3 pounds heavier. And where that comes in, guys, is the metal legs, of course. And then you have the 200D, which is about 23.9 inches wide and about 23.9 inches long. So that way, when it's folded up, so that way it's a very, very square. That's the squarest of them all. And then you have notice that 82.82 inches when it's open, which is the shortest of all three panels. So depending on how much space you have, maybe you're limited to space or whatever. Notice that the coating is all the same. I can never say this name, but I'm going to make the attempt. It's ethylene tetrafluoral space cadet. I don't know, guys. That's a very tough one to say. You almost have to be a scientist to, you know, it's like all the drug manufacturers with these long names, or like ingredients where they put into food. You know kind of what it is, but you can't pronounce it. Now notice, guys, that when you bring down to the power section, this is where it gets different now. Okay, So we're going to go all the way up here. Now notice that they're all 200 watts across the board. So all three panels will produce about the same amount of power, depending obviously on the atmosphere and the situation that you have it in. The cell efficiency, notice that they're all about the same. It's up to 23.4%. Now remember, that's up to. That would be best case scenario, perfect configuration, perfect sunlight, you know, the whole weather thing and everything. Now notice here that this is where it changes, guys. This is the actual open circuit voltage. This is 26.1 volts open circuit on the original PV200. This is 26.5 on the PV200S. And this is only 24.6 volts on the 200D. Now, you might want to, you might have a question, say, well, why are they different? Different cell configurations, different ways that they make the panels can affect the open circuit. Not to mention that the 24.6 will obviously be better for a solar generator or a power station that can only take up to like 25 volts input. So obviously if it can only take up to 25, if you put the 26s on there, it's not good for it. So that might be another reason why they made this panel here to go to the maybe smaller or older power stations, or possibly the newer ones, depending on which power station you have. And as I said before, Bluetti makes a ton of power stations. Like, their list is crazy long. Your voltage, now this is the working voltage, and that's about up to 20.5. Now the most important number that you need when buying a solar panel, by far over every number, over the weight and over everything else, is the open circuit voltage. Now some companies call it open circuit voltage, some companies call it voltage open circuit, and some companies call it VOC. They all are the same thing, they're all the same reference, but just remember that is the most important thing you want to have when buying a solar panel. That's the number one thing, and you cannot, guys, repeat, you cannot go over the VOC, or the open circuit voltage, or the voltage open circuit of your solar generator or your power station, because you could break it, or start it on fire. You don't want to do that, guys. Okay, so notice that the short circuit here is a little higher. It's 10.3 amps on this one, and it's only 9.4 on the 200S, and then it's 10.8, so it's at actually the highest amount on the 200D. Now notice that when the open circuit voltage is only 24, that's the lowest. They had to put the short circuit and the working amps up a little higher to equal out to that 200. So the wire will get a little bit hotter in these 10s than it would in the 9s. Okay, so let's go to the connection here, guys. We have MC4 is going to be on all three of these, I'm assuming. Standard MC4, standard MC4, and standard MC4. Now that is the standard, industry standard today, because they are IP67 waterproof. You can literally dunk them, which you shouldn't do. Dunk them underwater and then they still work for a short time. It's very cool, because if you have a very bad weather, rain, hail, something like that. I know about hail, because hail actually has a force of damage, but wind, weather, and else, it keeps the elements on the outside of the cables, and that way you can be more secure in your connections over Anderson, over was it JSA or whatever that old one is from, or no, I'm sorry, SAE, that's what it was. You know, the Radio Shack one. Harbor Freight has theirs, and I never liked that, because they're not waterproof, guys, and they're not very tight. MC4 actually has the locks on them, and that's one of the reasons that some people don't like MC4s, is because they have trouble opening them. But they do make a very, very simple tool. Bougerv makes a great tool where you can make MC4 connectors, and you can open them with this little tool. It's like $30. You get a whole kit and caboodle. Really, really good kit. We have, and we bought many of their MC4 connections. Here's your folded sizes again, and that way you can see them in real time, so you can screenshot these, or I'll show you a better way in a minute. Here's your cable length. Now that's another thing that could be different. Notice that the cable length on this one, it doesn't say. Being that these are 118 inches each, I'm going to assume that this is the same configuration, but it could be different. It's a possibility. Ask questions before you order, just in case if you like this 200D. Now notice, now here's once again, this is where Bluetti has, and a lot of companies have trouble. Notice that this picture here is the PV200 on this screen, and it's supposed to be the 200D. Now you notice that? So that's where it gets really confusing again, to where if you're a new person in this and you take the pictures at face value, this is obviously what does not come in the box, because this is the wrong panel. So this needs to go over here, and that other picture needs to go over here. And I will let them know I'm on Bluetti's live stream 2 or 3 times a week. We love talking to them about power stations. That is our favorite hobby ever. So we'll definitely send them a message and say, hey, we need to update some stuff. You got to kind of get on the ball here. Because like I said, for new people that order this stuff, very frustrating, guys, very frustrating. And not too long ago, we were the new people. We really were. So obviously the owner's manual here, let's hope that, I clicked the button wrong here. Let's hope that they got the owner's manual correct. Okay, so notice that there's 3 different owner's manual, and well, you can't really click on the screen, guys, otherwise stuff opens. They're proper here, so you have the PV200, the PV200S, and the PV200D. I will also upload all 3 of these if I don't have them on the channel yet, and that once again helps people learn about this stuff, just to make sure that they buy what they need and not what they think they need. You know, they can check all the specs and stuff. But like I said, I will be sending a personal message to Tim over at the Bluetti, and when I send it to him, it goes directly up to the marketing guys, and then they fix the stuff when we mention that, because as like we don't work for Bluetti, but like I said, we work kind of as a team, all of us as a subscriber family, and that way if all of us learn together, then you know, all of us make less mistakes. And guys, this stuff, look at the $400 a panel. That's a very costly mistake if you bought the wrong one for whatever reason, if it's higher, the VOC is not compatible with your system or whatever. But now there's one other way where you can pretty much guarantee, because we go through and check everything, guys, and then when we find a mistake, we update it. And just like in this situation, I found 2 mistakes on Bluetti. Now this is a billion-dollar company, and you know, just a little guy with a little channel found 2 mistakes on their page. So we like to always check them and make sure that they you know, get the right one. Let me find where is it? This one here. So guys, this is the Ramblin Bob Reviews Buy Me a Coffee page. It's also it subs as the solar power database. So what's really neat about this, if you don't know about it yet, check it out. It's free. What we do is we put all the company's database stuff, as well as coupons and everything, and the codes and whatnot in here, all the flash sales and everything when we find them. But notice these, we make these guys, and these are 100% free. You can go and you can right click, save them as. We put them in a frame because we really are inspired by this technology. It has changed our life 100%, and hopefully it has changed yours for the better. But notice that we have all the power stations that they put out with all of the specs and the pictures, and when we kin what's in the box here, if it's correct, and then we double check all this stuff to make sure that matter of fact, even the people at Bluetti have been using these pictures for their live stream, and that way they can use it as reference. I mean, we're happy to help, guys. We do all the power stations here, and then as it goes down, you'll see that it goes to the batteries then, or specialty items here, power set, and then these are the batteries. So if you have a system that expands, has expansion batteries, this is where you can find all the specs. And like I said, you can download this for free, guys. It's 100% free. Go there, feel free, take them, just right click, save as, and save it to your phone, your desktop, wherever you want. Print them out. We have a nice little binder where we print out everything that we have, and that way we don't make a mistake where the VOC is too high or whatever for a certain power station. Because we have, I think it's like, I don't know, like a lot of power stations now, so it can get very confusing very quickly. And we have a lot of solar panels, so like I said, it can get very confusing very quickly, and we don't want to make a mistake, and we don't want other people to make a mistake. And then notice that you get, after the batteries, you get the solar panels. Now here's the 120, here's the one that we have, and it's a nice little cheat, we call them cheat sheets, nice little cheat sheet you can print out. And then here's the 200D. Everything should be in alphabetical order. If it's not, please let me know. and then you have all your percentages here and your specs, and then you have the 200S, and that goes on and on and on. There's the 350, there's the 420. So feel free, like I said, you can have those. It's on the house. Of course, we're doing it to help our subscriber family. If you want to support the channel, these are all the affiliate links where you can get sales and promo codes. These are all the sales right now with Bluetti. So that is a very helpful little thing that we started, and like I said, I will be sending them a message to say, hey, you have to update these panels. Oh, one thing I forgot, guys, one thing very quickly between the three. Notice that this one here has these little holes here. What those are is those are grommet links, and you can hang that. So that's a very nice thing. I forgot about that, and a lot of people overlook that. These are actual holes where you can put like little bungee cords or something like that, or a little rope, and you can hang it on the side of your van or on a fence or the balcony. If you live in a place where you're not allowed to put solar panels outside or on the roof, you can hang them on a balcony or something like that, as long as they allow you to do that, and you can get free energy coming in from the sun, because at the end of the day, guys, that's the game, is to get that free energy from the sun. They also do like a monthly payment plan kind of things too with the city pay. We've never done that, guys. We always saved our pennies and did it. We don't like to pay the interest on credit cards and stuff. So we use a credit card and then we pay it off right away, but we save the money first, and that way we don't have to pay the extra. This stuff is expensive, you know, enough as it is, so you don't want to pay any extra. Okay, well, that's the three panels, guys. That's the PV200, the PV200S, and the PV200D. Very confusing, I know, but hopefully this video will find information for people that need one of these 200-watt panels, and they just cannot figure out what the difference is, or they might not understand what the difference was. Hopefully we went through enough of it where you know, it kind of makes sense. I know this stuff is confusing at first, guys, but you stick with it. I promise you'll get the hang of it, and next thing you know, you'll be having 50 megawatt, you know, solar panel on your house. Who knows? Because it is catchy. It is very addicting. Okay, guys, ramble on. Be safe, and we'll see you here on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.